All right, guys, welcome back. And thank you so much for tuning in today. This is my first solo episode, and hopefully, there will be more to come very soon. If you follow me personally, you may be following along on my human design journey. And with that, I have learned so much about myself. I'm super excited to really get into it and start offering readings for people. And of course, do more episodes regarding human design. Very excited for that coming soon. And I've also learned that there isn't just one way of doing life, especially for someone like me who is a projector, which I was burning myself out doing so much of what I was hearing from even some podcasts, society, and everything like go, 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 go all the time. Work 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. or later. And in doing that, I was just really burning myself out in life, in my career. And so finding human design was awesome because it kind of helped me understand myself and why I was feeling so burnt out. And with that, I'm also going to be talking about a lot of things that I've started implementing into my life to improve it. And these are things that you can implement into your life no matter what your design, and they will improve your life in some ways. And these are things that I've started doing. So I hope that, if you want to start doing some of them that you hear, or if all of them sound great, then awesome. Super excited. So, number one is setting no phone times. That means no phone. You put your phone up on the charger, don't touch it during this period of time. And also, no phone locations. I've actually just listened to a podcast with Jay Shetty, and he talks about no phone time or no phone locations in your house. So, for him, I think he talked about the bedroom and the dinner table, which I thought was awesome because at the dinner table, like I am very traditional in the way that like I love to sit at the dinner table with my kids, my husband at the end of the day, if we can. Of course, there are sports and activities that sometimes hinder that. But if it's an evening that we can all sit down around the dinner table and talk about what we went through during the day, our high points, our low points, and just be together as a family and connect in a conversational way. I feel like a lot of us in today's day and age don't do that a lot because we are so on the go. And when you have kids that are like my kids' age, they're almost 7 and almost 10, it's so easy to just get wrapped up in the hustle and bustle. And being a business owner as well, like it's very hard to just turn the work off. So we've started doing this in our life where we put the phone up. I try to do it around 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., like basically dinner time. Whenever I'm done cooking dinner, it's time to just sit down with my kids, do homework, enjoy the evening with them, talk with my husband. We put the phone up and that's that. So the phones do not come with us to the dinner table. They don't come with us to our bedroom. That's another huge one. I was in such a bad habit of being on my phone, laying in bed at night, and my husband would be laying next to me on his phone, and we just wouldn't be connecting at the end of the night. We go all day working for our businesses and me with the kids a lot, and then him with the kids. And so it's just that time is so special at the end of the day to really just like connect with your spouse, your partner, and same thing with what you go through in the dinner table with your kids of like what were their high points, what were their low points. This is a great time for us to talk about like our goals, our dreams, and connect in that way. But then also we like to watch our shows sometimes we read. But I found that as we were bringing our phones to our bedroom and just scrolling mindlessly, we were trying to shut off from the day. But in doing that, we were shutting off from each other as well. And so keeping the phones out have been great at night. And then another bad habit that I had was in the morning, my alarm clock goes off. And the first thing I do is turn it off because it's, of course, on my phone. And then I would get stuck scrolling social media first thing in the morning. And not only would it start my day off doing something like social media, may have altered my mood at some point. It would also get me so off track from my morning routine. I like to wake up. I like to drink water, meditate. We'll get into more of those things later, but I like to do a certain routine that doesn't involve my phone. And so it was really hard when my phone was coming into my bedroom and acting as my alarm clock. It's very hard to not jump right on there and clear off your notifications. So, that being said, we have ordered a Hatch alarm clock, and there's a bunch of them. So, it doesn't have to necessarily be the Hatch brand, but I'm just plugging Hatch right now. And it's an alarm clock that wakes up however you choose. You can get like an app on your phone, I think, and you can set it to where it brightens up the room. There can be like bird noises, water noises, like just very easily brings you up out of your sleep, which I personally love. I'm not a morning person. So something like that is going to wake me up and just help me start my day in a great mood. And it's also not my phone. So my phone does not cross the boundary of being in my bedroom. So, long story short, I think that's great for more productivity, more family connection, and allows more downtime at the end of your day. So, setting phone times, setting no phone times, and setting no phone locations in your house. Number 2, no coffee on an empty stomach. I used to be so bad about this. I love coffee. I'm one of those people that I don't necessarily do it for the energy. I've always just done it for the taste and the smell. I love the smell of coffee. So it was just kind of like a habit of mine, but I have gut issues myself. And so I've learned that doing no coffee on an empty stomach really helped with that, but also so many other things. So the first thing I do when I get up is I hydrate with water. I have my Stanley cup next to my bed all the time. So just hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I know I sound like a broken record because a lot of people say this on podcasts, social media, TikTok, whatever. You hear hydrate, but it's so true. First thing in the morning, hydrate. I usually like to stretch, possibly work out if my schedule that day permits it. Like I said, I have 2 kids, almost 7 and almost 10, so it's really hard to get up and first thing leave the house to go work out. So schedule sometimes doesn't permit that, but there are things that you can do like just stretching, moving your body. I then like to eat a clean breakfast, and so that could be something like eggs, rice, quinoa, turkey. I do a lot of lean turkey in the mornings with bell peppers and onions, just a clean breakfast. It can be whatever that is to you. These are just little things that I like to eat. And then I will start to drink my coffee around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I also only drink decaf. So that's another thing. And a lot of people, when they hear decaf, they're like, well, then what's the point? There's no caffeine. But there is little hints of caffeine still in decaf coffee. So that's a little tip for everyone who thinks that decaf doesn't have any caffeine in it. It does. And I drink decaf because it just helps my anxiety. It keeps my cortisol at bay. Because what happens when you're drinking coffee on an empty stomach or high amounts of caffeine is that your cortisol is constantly going up and down all the time. And we've actually talked about this on this podcast before, is that when your cortisol is going up and down, so is your mood, so is your anxiety, and then you're going to get that midday crash when then it's 2 o'clock and you're like, oh gosh, I need more caffeine. And so that's what I like to do to just kind of keep my anxiety and cortisol at bay. I also sometimes, before I even have my coffee, I will do a bone broth protein shake. And that has collagen in it. So I found that it's great for inflammation. It's great for my skin. And I just feel really good when I drink that in the morning. And it's also high in protein, so even better. I also, when I drink coffee, I stick to low sugar options. So if I'm making coffee at home, I might use a little bit of stevia. I've started kind of using raw milk in my coffee, which I've heard from a podcast, The Skinny Confidential. If you know it, she talks all about raw milk and it's great. I found a local farmer who does it. So I will also tag all of this in the show notes if you are interested in trying out something like raw milk. It has so many benefits to it. I'm not going to get into it too much because we got a lot to cover here, but it is so good. It's tasty. And I love, just like I said, making like a low sugar coffee. Okay, number 3, exercise. Whatever that may be, get up and do it, because your body is going to feel so much better if you just implement some sort of exercise in your life daily. And by body, I'm talking like mind, body, spirit, everything, like your mental health, your physical health, and just everything. Like it changes the game if you are implementing some sense of exercise, especially those who have desk jobs. Like you're sitting all day and it's really hard to get up and move. I understand that, but then it's even more important for you to implement it maybe before you start your job or after. There's studies out that have shown that 95% of people over the age of 30 will never sprint again. And I just think that's crazy, because I'm 30 and I still feel so youthful. But it makes sense though, because when you think about it, like before my kids got older, I really didn't sprint at all. And I don't know why. When you do it, it sounds crazy, but when you just go outside or on the treadmill and just full out sprint, it almost just gives your body like a high. And so I try to sprint as often as I can. I'm trying to do it more. We do a kickball tournament once a year, and that is like been up until this point, that has been like one of the only times that I have sprinted. And every time we play, I'm so sore the next day. I'm just like dead, when I should not be feeling that way at 30 years old. We are not old, people. We are not old. So get out there, sprint, do something, exercising your body. You'll feel so much better, and your body will just stay more youthful longer. So like I said, it doesn't have to be like you're getting in the gym, turning into Wonder Woman. You could go for a walk. I have a park 5 minutes from me. We go on walks often. And even if I didn't like put in a hardcore workout during the day, that walk, we could walk. We usually try to hit a mile, but if it could be more. And that walk alone, it's just great because I have moved my body for the day. So exercise, exercise, exercise. So great for you. Skincare. Look good, feel good. So this goes to men too. My husband has started doing a skincare regimen, and he has told me I feel so much better because my skin looks better, because he works in construction. He's in the sun all the time. And up until I finally got him on a skincare regimen like 2 years ago, I don't even think the dude ever knew what SPF was. So definitely take care of yourself. I use a Yucca app. It's called YUKA. And honestly, this can be used for so many things, because I don't think a lot of people realize like how many things in their household goes into their skin and like into their body. So I use the Yucca app. It's YUKA, and I scan stuff before I buy it. Or you can even search it, like if you're looking up something to see if you want to purchase it when you go to the store. I look on there and it rates everything for like how clean it is. So I do that for my skincare. I use Curology. It's from Target. You can probably get it from other places, but I will link that for you guys. It rated clean, and I love it. It's really done wonders for my skin. I use their cleanser, their exfoliating pump, and their moisturizer. There are some other clean products at Target too. I'm sure there's clean products other places, and that's how I find them, is I use this Yucca app. I also love to use it for my hand soaps, my bath soaps, my lotions, cleaning products, even like my dishwasher tabs, my laundry detergents, all of it. My son has super sensitive skin, so all of this has been so necessary for our household anyway, but it also goes into skincare, because the way that your skin looks when you're using clean products is amazing. So definitely focus more on that. And I clean my face every night and every morning, and I moisturize. And it's not that you need a 15-step skincare routine, but to have a clean face and a moisturized face does wonders, because I'm 30 and a lot of people, when they find that out, say, "Oh my gosh, I would never know that you're 30." And I think it just goes along with not only hydrating a lot, but just taking care of your skin. It's self-love. And a lot of people ask me too how often I do get Botox, and I have gotten Botox. I think Botox is preventative, and that's why I use it personally. If I can stop from getting wrinkle creases super deep right now, then maybe by the time I'm 40, I won't have all those wrinkles. And not to say that you have to do this to be beautiful or anything by any means. This is just what I do to feel good. I want to have youthful looking skin, youthful face, as long as I possibly can. So these are my recommendations. And also wearing your SPF daily. Here in the Midwest, we don't have like super strong sun rays whenever it's winter, but it is still good to protect your skin from any kind of sun rays, UV. And so I wear my SPF every single day, even under my makeup sometimes, depending on what type of makeup I'm wearing, because there are some makeups that have SPF in it. But I usually always put on my SPF under my makeup too. And if you ever see me out at a pool or the lake or the boat, I most likely always have a hat on. So I'm protecting my skin double ways. So that's a great thing I do every single day to take care of myself. Journaling. Okay, so I'm sure everybody has heard about journaling. I love journaling, and I preach it to everybody that I talk to about this kind of stuff, because it has helped me in many ways. And a lot of people use journaling for different things. So you can use journaling to start your day. I know a lot of people that start their day, and I've actually done this too, where I've started my day and I've kind of just organized my thoughts first thing in the morning, maybe after I've meditated, and I've just written down like, okay, this is what I'm hoping to get out of the day. But then I've also I've also manifested in ways of using my journal too. So if you like to meditate or get into like a manifestation state, and you really get clear on what it is that you're trying to bring in, you can use your journal as a tool to write that down to bring it into you. So I love using a journal for that as well. A lot of people use it at the end of the day to just kind of like summarize what they went through, almost like that's more of a diary in my mind, to keep a log of like, okay, this is everything that happened to me today. You could even go through and be like, these are the things that happened. This is what I wish would have gone differently. This is what I loved. So you can use a journal in that way too. What I like to use a journal for personally is just if I have a download like during the day and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea, whether it's business or family or my kids or anything. And I love to write it down immediately in my journal. Sometimes I don't have my journal. I'll keep it in my notes app and then I'll write it down later. But I love to write down downloads like that. I love meditating and then journaling too, because I really feel like meditation helps me organize my thoughts and then I get them out on paper. And I also love to write in my journal whenever I'm struggling with something internally or like something that's triggering me in that moment. And sometimes it's best to just journal it rather than lash out, whether it's towards my husband or my kids. And by lashing out, I mean when the frustration is misdirected. And sometimes like journaling can act as a buffer for that, where if I'm feeling that way and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I feel like I'm going to explode in a minute if I don't just go take myself out of the equation, journal, breathe, and then come back. And I do that, and I'm telling you, every single time it fizzles out what could have been either a major disagreement between my husband and I that would not have ended well, or my kids maybe would have gotten the brunt of me just acting on frustration. And so journaling for me in that way has been huge because I'm able to just write it all out and close it up and leave it there. And then I can take a breather and I'm like, okay, I feel better now. I can move on. I can go back out of my room and I can be the mom that I want to be. I can be the wife that I want to be. So journaling is great, I promise. Okay, number 6, do something for yourself at least once per week. Some people do it more, some people do it less. I think if you are somebody that never does anything for yourself, even starting to do it once a month, and then you can bump it up to twice a month, and then bump it up to once a week. I like to do something for myself once a week because it helps me just give back to myself, especially for moms, dads, business owners, even really just anybody and every day. You give so much of yourself to so many other people. And so it's a great reminder that we have to also give back to ourselves so that we can then turn around and be the person that we want to be for everyone else. So a little self-love goes a long, long way. This could look like something like, for me personally, I love going and getting my nails done. I love a massage. And of course, you're not getting a massage every single week. It could be different every week. It could be different every month, whatever it is that you want to do. It's just, and it doesn't have to cost $1 million either. It could be something as simple as going on a hike. Really, it's just something that you love to do, that you are going to cut out an hour, 2 hours of your day once a week and go and do it for yourself. And I'm not talking the gym either. That's something that, if you're exercising, that's something you should do every day like we talked about. But this is something that you love to do where you can just kind of turn off, where you don't have to be someone for anyone else. You don't have to give yourself to anyone else. Me as a mom, I found this to be so great for myself because especially in the summertime right now, my kids are out of school and they're with me 24/7 and my husband is working. And so it's hard to expect him to come home from a whole day of work every single day and just take on them. And I'm like, okay, peace out. I'm out of here. Like, I'm going to go take a break now. No, I still have to be there. I still have to be a wife. I still have to be a mom. I have to cook dinner. I have to do laundry. I have to make sure the kids get in bed on time. So it's kind of nice talking with my husband and being like, hey, this is kind of my day. If I can have an hour, 2 hours where I can just go and be, and 99% of the time, he's going to be like, heck yeah. I mean, the 1% could be maybe like, oh, well, that day's not going to work. Can we move it to this day? Which usually is no problem. So have that conversation with your partner or someone that can help you have that self-care time. And I promise it is going to be so beneficial and bring you peace so that when you leave from doing that thing, you can take on the week. Number 7, disconnecting. And this kind of goes along with the phone boundaries that I was talking about. So this is disconnecting, and I feel like so many adults, specifically myself for sure, I was so bad about just like constantly staying plugged into things. I mean, we live in a world full of technology and social media and just all these things. So it is very hard to unplug, but so necessary for mental health and just being. So one thing I've tried to start doing is not only, of course, putting my phone up, not allowing it into my bedroom, but when I go in my bedroom, I disconnect. I like to meditate. Sometimes I just sit and I just like sit there and just allow myself to sit in the silence for a little period of time. This is great to do. Also, like, I love taking Epsom salt baths. It's a great way to ground and just, it's great for your body as well. And so I love to just sit, and I'm not on my phone. I'm not watching a movie. I'm not even reading a book. I'm not talking. No one's talking to me. Just sitting in silence and calm. So, great way. Okay, number 8, keep your relationship between you. You and your spouse, your partner, whatever. Keep your relationship private. I cannot stress this enough. And this is a big lesson that I have learned. And Elena Cardone actually talks about it perfectly in, I want to say her book. So if you have not, definitely read Elena Cardone's recent book. I think it's called Building How to Build Your Empire. And it's an amazing book. And she talks about this, I think, in the book, but for sure I heard her on a podcast talk about this as well. Okay, so when you think about your relationship, it's a partnership and you want to protect your partner. You don't want to ruin their reputation by spreading gossip about your own partner, your own relationship. And one of the things that Elena talks about, and it's something along these lines, but basically, like, when you go and you're hanging out with your girlfriends or your guy friends and you're talking about your significant other and you're just bitching about everything that they just did, and it's, blah, 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 blah. And he did this and this. And of course, your friend Sally's like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? Wow, what a jerk. And so, of course, you're going to get over it. You and your spouse are going to talk it out and you're going to move on. But then 2 weeks later, when you see Sally again, Sally's going to say, hey, did you guys ever work that out? And then all it does is reignite that whole problem all over again. And then Sally also has a different perspective on your partner, your spouse, because she's not in that marriage. She's not in your relationship. So she doesn't have the point of view of your person that you do. She has it from the outside, hearing what you've now told her all about them. And you're like, oh, no, wait, we're good now. But now it's reignited because it's been brought back up. And so Elena talks about that, and I thought that was great because my husband and I have done a pretty good job at keeping our relationship as private as possible. It has made its way out of our relationship a few times, and it's never been good. It's never been a good idea to do that. I think that is why we have remained strong for as long as we've been married, and from a very young age. We've been together since we were 18 and 23. We've gone through many stages of life together. We've been many different ways with each other. I mean, you're not the same person you are at 30 as you were at 18, and you're not the same person at 35 as you were at 23. And so we've had to go through all these stages of life with each other. And I think the reason that we've stayed as strong as we have is because we are a partnership and we do keep our relationship between us, because really it's no one else's damn business what goes on between the two of you. And a big thing that happens when you do try to lean on some friends and talk a little bit about your relationship, because we're human, we want to just be able to kind of vent. And I've been guilty of it many times. And you want to have somebody that, you can vent to, and then they turn around and be like, oh, yeah, no, you're totally right. We want that, of course. But in doing that, those friends sometimes will go back home and they'll tell their partner, who will then tell a buddy. And before you know it, you got this long round of telephone of everyone talking about your business, about your marriage, when none of them even know the inner workings of it. And so don't do it. Just keep it between you. You should be communicating with your partner. And if it's a hot and heavy topic that you're going, or a struggle that you're going through, and you need some time, then take a break. Speak with a professional, a therapist, or someone that a professional that you trust, But number one, bottom line is keep your relationship private. Okay, number 9, read. This sounds so simple, but it really is. It's just that. It's read. Listen to an Audible, whatever, podcasts. I learned so much from podcasts. My favorites to actually listen to are the Skinny Confidential, His and Her show with Lauren Bostic and Michael. Bostic. They are awesome. I love them. I listen to them every week. And Ed Millette. Ed Millette is amazing too. I learned so much from both of those podcasts, so those are great recommendations. But reading is awesome. I mean, you could read on any topic and learn so much. There's been so many times in my life where I've not received answers from a professional who I'm seeking a service from, where I'm just kind of like, okay, but I'm still feel like I'm left in the dark, specifically in my like medical doctors and different healthcare professionals, or even like financial stuff. Sometimes I've felt like I've been left in the dark a little bit, like I'm still just kind of like, okay, well, that didn't help me. Still have no answers of what to do. I didn't go to XYZ school to learn this. But the power that we have is books, reading, educate yourself. There's been so many times that I've said, okay, well, I didn't get that answer. So I've researched and I've read a book or I've listened to a podcast and I've given myself the knowledge that I needed to provide that answer for myself. And it's so beneficial. And so that's basically what it is. Read more, put the phone down more, read, and knowledge is power. Okay, my final piece is number 10, have fun. And this is alcohol-free fun. And this is something that I've started doing more and more, especially with my kids. And this kind of goes back to sprinting. I love just like going out in the yard and just telling my son, okay, let's race. And we'll sprint. We'll full out sprint in the yard, or I'll play football with them, or jumping on the trampoline, just something. Because I feel like as adults, we come into this ideology of, okay, now I'm an adult, so fun's out the window. And the only way that adults can have fun is alcohol induced. And I hate that, because I was stuck in that ideology as well. Like I was stuck in that place of like, well, I want to have fun this weekend. Where are we going? Where are we drinking? What bar can we go to? And I've started doing that less and doing things that are more childlike. And it sounds funny. It really does. And maybe a lot of you are rolling your eyes going, oh my gosh, no, I'm not doing this. But it is awesome what it does for your mental health, in my opinion. I've started doing things, like I said, sprinting, jumping on the trampoline, swinging. I mean, even going on slides at the park. I'm sure there's parents staring at me like, okay, lady, what are you doing? But I love it. And my kids love it. And I get to be like my free-spirited self. And it is just great. I think it just changes your whole demeanor on when you do that. And I've noticed, like, when I do these things with my kids, or even without my kids, like my husband and I have started doing like a little bit more childlike playful things, like scavenger hunts, playing sports, and even like going on roller coasters. I just went on a roller coaster when we were out of town, and as I'm on it, I'm like, why don't we do this more often? Like, that I haven't done these types of things really since I was a kid, and I don't know why we don't make it a point to do more fun things that aren't alcohol induced. And so just bring it back into your life. It does wonders. Your kids will love it. I mean, I don't even know how many times my kids have like told me, "Mom, can you be crazy? Can you be crazy again? Can you like jump on the trampoline and like chase us and we can race?" And like the kids love it, and it just brings so much like joy into my day that may have not been there if I didn't just let myself be childlike for a period of time. So that's my 10 cents, and I hope maybe it helped you a little bit and you can maybe take a little bit away from it. Like I said, I really hope to start doing more solo episodes and have a little bit more on human design once I am fully certified, which will be soon, fingers crossed. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in always and listening. And I hope to just continue this awesome journey with everyone. So thank you. As always, I appreciate you all so much for listening. My goal is for these episodes to at least help one person in some aspect of their life. So if you like what you hear, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe to the show, as well as follow us on social media at Inside Voice Pod. Thanks.